Dang. Ugh.
Hello, and welcome back to my channel. It's been about 4 years since I put anything out. But now that I have this gigantic shop and a lot more projects on the books, I figured I'd start making some videos again. So let's start with a shop tour. It is currently July of 23, which means we've been in this house for 8 months. So there's still a lot of work to do to get this place how I want it to be. Let's go take a look. The garage is an L shape. This section is 54 feet long, plenty of room to get up to a full sprint. The tandem bay is 16 feet wide. The 1.5 car bay is 22 feet wide with a jut out that is 14 feet by 4 feet, and the ceilings are 10 feet tall. So this is that door that leads into the house, and the theory for anything that's around this door is stuff that you can grab without having to put your shoes on. We're a shoes off in the house kind of family, so if you need a flashlight, dog's collars, extension cord, snow shovel, this is Colorado, and also this shelf where if you use a tool inside, you can just put it back right here on the shelf, and later on I'll put it where it belongs. There also will be a battery sorting system that will go right up here. So I think that's how I'll do this. When I come across something that I'm going to do in the future, I'll just let you know, and those will be videos down the road. So we have a whiteboard, and the first thing on this south wall is the drill press. The little cart. It has one drawer for like hole saws and other weird drill bits that don't fit into a standard system. And you've got the TP and PT. Toilet paper is just better for blowing your nose in here. And I am an over-the-top guy. Got dowels stuck in a little cubby here, edge bandings. I don't really have a good classification for them. And since this is 10-foot ceilings, I want to utilize this upper space for stuff that I'm not going to use on a regular basis, but I can't throw away, particularly these nice plastic cases that power tools come in. And then, you know, electrical parts and drywall, stuff that I'm not going to access regularly. And then we've got the furthest drop from the dust collector, this big extendable hose here. I'll talk about the dust collector all together. We've got another shelf up top, same theory, you know, rope, hard hats, pieces that I'm not going to access on a regular basis. And this is the power tool wall. You can tell by the color scheme my brand of choice. But I tried to make everything as pull out versus pull up as possible. So I've got 16 gauge nailer, reciprocating saw, jigsaw, oscillating tool, the whole complement of routers from Dremel, trim, 1/4 inch shank, 1/2 inch shank, and then these holes here for router bits, plenty of room for expansion there as you can see, and then another blank space. Hopefully I can fill it up with another tool soon. I got track saw, circular saw, angle grinder, hot glue, random orbital, all the stuff. Got the charger right down there. The Porter cable pocket hole jig, which I don't even think they make anymore, but it's fantastic. And then my drill and driver each have the fast cap power mag on top, which is great for, just throw the screws that you're going to use right on top there, but even better, I mounted a little piece of metal underneath here and just stick both of those in place. these two kitchen knife holder magnets for all my driver bits. And then this is my replication of the KISS drill bit system, where I just painted the end of each drill bit a different color, and the hole has a corresponding color right on top. So you don't have to think much about putting it back. Forstner bits, Vicks bits, countersink, and then again, plenty of room for expansion. Down below here, a little shelf for the air compressor. It's in a great spot because you can access it to use nailers on the bench, or not too far from entering the shop where you fill up the kids' bike tires. And then I built this cabinet below it for Micah on the top. 2 drawers and 2 cabinets. Since I've only been here 8 months, all of my drawers are still just unorganized. But my thought was, let's get everything into drawers first. We can sort out how they look in there second. But this place was a catastrophe of boxes for moving, so I just wanted to get them into drawers. And here we have the hand tool wall, little open space for a hand plane tray, which is another video coming out soon. And I tried to do the same thing here, as many things that come straight out versus up and out. Obviously couldn't do that everywhere, but pliers kind of have to come up and out, but each one is kind of like a picture of what plier goes there, because each of the holes is kind of custom to fit that particular plier. And then anything that is behind where something that does need to come up and out, so like these screwdrivers, they're just holes and they need to come up and out. This magnet with my little 6-inch ruler is so flat to the wall that it can live behind these without much issue. But all these holders are all pretty custom. Hand saws, again, just utilizing a bunch of magnets, labeling what they are. And then hammers kind of hang in this bank here. On top are old drawer pulls from my old miter saw station. So you may see some blue colored stuff hanging around here. That's all wood that used to be in my miter saw station, and I'm repurposed. But you should check that video out. That's pretty cool, the usage of different old tools for drawer pulls. And yes, I've set off the saw stop twice. Not on my finger, both on pressure treated wood. So if you are cutting pressure treated or wet feeling wood, use the key and turn off the brake. And as we move along, we've got this universal clamp rack. Each one of these slots lines up with the one above it, so when you do have your long clamps, you can just hang them and they fit right in the track of the one below it. And then in this corner is where my dust collector lives. It's the Oneida Supercell. I wanted to mount it higher, like put this drum on a box and mount it higher, but when you want to access the filter, from here up has to come straight off, has to go straight up to come off. So if you put it up near the ceiling, you're just locking it in and then you are screwed. So that's as high as I could put it. All along this back wall is where we begin the catastrophe. This is the next thing that we're going to be doing, is building a lumber storage system. I've got some ideas for something I haven't seen on YouTube before, so we'll stick around for that. But I did leave 4 feet plus walking room back here from the edge of the workbench to the back wall, so you could put a piece of plywood like this, full 4-foot sheet, and still have room to walk around workbench completely. On this back wall, I've got a little shelf raised up for my radio. It's raised up at a certain height because we plan to do a miter saw station here. So we're going to do 5 feet to the right of the blade and 8 feet to the left of the blade, and that's raised up as a means of fitting underneath the miter saw station. So we already have the drop for the miter saw when that comes. And then as we continue down this wall, temporary chemical storage and the Craig Foreman. Underneath this table, I've got my hardware storage from my previous miter saw station. So the drawer pulls look like what's inside, so pocket holes, regular wood screws, bolts and things. And then here we've got 220 power for the 8-inch jet joiner, and I'm using Magport for the for the hose, so I can pull that right off and stick it onto the planer, so that drop services both the joiner and planer. And here where this trash can is, I think it will be finish storage. It's another video down the road. And then this furthest drop here services both bandsaws. I keep the 3/4 inch blade for ripping on the Laguna and the 1/4 inch blade for curve cuts on the Rikon. So we'll head back to the middle island. So first you can see that this island is not centered between these walls, and that's on purpose. I wanted more room on this side to where when the miter saw station comes, you still have room to walk around the table. And then on this side, I knew it was just going to be a tool wall right here. So, you know, everything sticks out no more than 10 inches or so. So you can move the table a little bit further that way. So this workbench is a torsion box MDF top with Formica, and then some walnut edge banding, and then we did a 2-inch lip all the way around so you could clamp down to it. Do have a bank of 2 drawers here. There's going to be 2 more on the other side, and then the Festool extractor with the Mirka sander lives underneath, and then the saw stop. And then I took the cord for the saw stop, ran it up the dust drop for the table saw all the way around and down, because I hate the idea of having to step over a cord. And then let's talk about this dust collection system. So I'm using 4-inch sewer and drain pipe. So what we do is we come straight up, and then all the seams are 245s, and I use aluminum tape just for a little added safety. We split here, and one goes across the ceiling and makes a turn. Behind the flag is 1 drop for the miter saw and another drop for the joiner and planer, scoots along, and then the last drop for the bandsaws. Then we have a second split which shoots out into the middle of the room and drops down. I don't see how else you could do that if you have an island table saw. So for me, that's the best option. And then the last piece continues along, kind of goes around this jut out for the breaker panel, and then finally drops to this 25-foot expandable flex hose with the floor sweep, so you can kind of pick up anything random that isn't produced by the big tools. And as we come to the 1.5 car bay, we've got our 2 trash cans and kind of your outdoor section, all of those tools that you need: chainsaw, leaf blower, wheelbarrow and lawnmower and all that. And this is that other door that leads to the outside. Here we definitely need some work. The kids just always seem to have more and more different vehicles that they ride around. You got the mini bike or the little electric scooter, 2 strollers, and all sorts of things. So then I utilized the sides of the garage door for ladder storage up high. And then on this wall, that's 14 2-inch thick, 8-foot long slabs of walnut from a tree in the house I grew up in Virginia. Those have got another year or so before they're dry and ready to rock. So they're just hanging out there on the wall. This wall will be router table, which right now is router table / stain storage, which I hate staining. And it's holding up wood scraps. This is another reason why I need to get that lumber storage system figured out. This will all be integrated into there. But we're going to do a bench across here and then a bank of cabinets that will hold the spindle sander, the disc sander, scroll saw, lathe, and then get rid of these boxes of finish and sandpaper and things. So still a lot of work to be done on this side, but I really want to get lumber figured out first and then move on to the miter saw station on that side, because that's going to provide banks of drawers for things. It's going to provide hardware storage, give me another surface to put things on. So I need to get that figured out first.